In just a couple of weeks, we'll be lighting the Advent wreath. The church will begin a new year. The church calendar, the church year doesn't start on January 1st. It starts because every year of the church recounts the mysteries of Jesus. The new year begins as we begin to prepare for the birth of Jesus. So the first Sunday of Advent will begin a new church year. So it's appropriate that tonight we have some scriptures about the end times, the end of things. And as you can see, the imagery here is ominous. A time among the nations unsurpassed in distress. A time of tribulation when the sun will be darkened, the moon eclipsed, the stars falling from the sky. The scriptures are not an astronomy textbook. But these images are just that, images of a time known only to God when the Lord will return. When the Lord, whose birth we prepare to celebrate in this December, will come at the end of time. Church is asking us to look at the huge, big picture of things. It's over 2,000 years since Jesus spoke these words, but we still look up at the clouds, at darkening skies. We still track the speed and the power of the winds. When the heavens are shaken by tornadoes and hurricanes, when we watch as the land is split by earthquakes, or baked in a drought, or washed away by earthquakes, hurricanes, landslides. In our own times, I suppose we call all of this global warming. Back in the day, Jesus offered this imagery as a reminder that in the mystery, in the turbulence of nature, there is revealed something about who God is and his presence among us. Of course, everything Jesus describes here occurs in every age. The intensity of nature and our understanding of how it might change remains much the same generation after generation. The apocalyptic imagery like this, these ominous signs in the sky, this kind of imagery is never so much about the future as it is about the moment at hand. Prophecy is the same thing. Prophets in the Old Testament, they were not trying to tell the future. They spoke of the future to get people to look at the present moment and how God was working now. The same is true here. The gospel is less a prediction of what's to come and more a declaration of what is already. An imagery like this isn't meant to frighten us with what's ahead. Rather, it's meant to comfort and console us, to announce a victory of hope over despair, even now in our own circumstances, whatever they may be, however difficult they may be. We make a big mistake if we hear these words and come away wondering, wow, so I wonder when the Lord will come again in clouds and power and glory. The big mistake would be to miss that he is already here. I always love it at the beginning of Advent when people say, we're getting ready for the birth of Christ. No. He was born 2,000 years ago. You can't get ready for that again. We get ready to celebrate the birth of Jesus. The big mistake would be to miss that he's already here, that he's with us now, in whatever tribulations there might be around the globe, in our nation, in our state, in our community, in our parish, in our families. Whatever is troubling in any of those places, Jesus is already there. He's with each of us tonight, no matter how dark might be the shadows in my life or yours. He's with us tonight in whatever emotional hurricanes and spiritual tornadoes may be our current personal weather patterns. Jesus is right in the thick of it. He's with us tonight through whatever gale force winds are bearing down on what's happening in your life tomorrow. If there's a warning in the gospel, it's this. If you don't want to miss the Lord when he comes at the end of time, don't miss him now. Don't miss him today. Don't miss him tonight while he's already with us. Don't miss him in the smallest of signs, when buds and leaves sprout on tender branches, promising a new season and a new reason for hope. Don't miss him in the help and comfort that others offer us when they reach out to us in our darkest days and in the middle of our most troubled nights. Don't miss him in prayer, but rather take time every day to sit with the Lord and share with him all your sorrows and all your joys. Don't miss him in your memories of the past, times when you remember when he walked with you through trials and tragedies, problems you thought you'd never survive, but you did, because he was there to help you. Don't miss him in those surprise encounters with grace that come not by chance, but by God's design. Those little moments of grace, light in the darkness, that help us through our difficult days. Don't miss him in the moments, the glimpses, and the flashes of hope that spark in our minds and our hearts, precisely when things may seem most dark and dismal. Remember, the gospel is less a prediction of what's to come and much more a declaration of what already is. The Lord who is to come, the Lord whose return we await, that same Lord is with us now. So let's not miss him at his table. Let's not miss him at his altar, where he waits for us to come every Sunday night, where he waits to speak his word to us in the scriptures, where he waits to feed us, to nourish us with his body and blood in communion with him in the Eucharist. None of us knows, not even the angel knows, the day or the hour when the Lord will come again at the end of time. But each of us knows in faith that he comes today, he comes this night, that he's with us even now, and he will see us through tomorrow.